Bruce, if you would like to sit by Hector, you're more than welcome to. Our village attorney. This meeting to order.
Trustee DeBoer? Here. Trutchell?
Here.
Wallschlager? Here. Connor?
Here.
Hallquist?
Here.
President Vanderstill?
Here.
And Trustee Pfeiffer is excused this evening.
If you could all rise and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. This will be led by Trustee Wallschlager.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Now we will have public comments. It's not on the agenda, but Bruce Furbringer with 5 Bugle, who is consulting with the village and has over the course of the last 8 years, is just going to give the board and the public an update on what he's been working on. And
Okay.
go ahead. And because it's in public comments, you got to say I suppose the company or the address, but your name and
Okay,
the
yeah,
company.
Bruce Furbringer with 5 Bugle Training and Consulting, and I'm out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin on that. Thank you. It's good to see you again. I've had a chance to speak with some of you over the years. I just want to mention that my involvement now is with the fire chief hiring process. When President Vanderstill called me with some questions and some possible concerns about the process, I was invited to come down and become involved to just speak with the Police and Fire Commission about the process. And at that time, I told them how important of a decision, a hire that they're going to be doing at this point, because with the strategic plan we worked on 2 years ago and with the direction the village is set to go in, and getting the right person to lead the department through that is, I can't tell you how critical that is. It's going to be a transformation from what the fire department has been, and 5 to 10 years from now it's going to look totally different. The service delivery will be the same. They work, they're professional now, even though they're volunteers. We're looking at potential in the future, as you know, being professional career, okay, on there to make sure the availability for the calls. So when I came down and spoke with them, I'll just say that there was some misinformation or lack of understanding or some miscommunications going on that was significantly impacting the process the way they were attempting to do it at that time. And in my opinion, what was happening wasn't truly in the best interest of the village long term and in the process for the hiring. So I was able to be involved. We brought a couple of outside chiefs in, as you're aware of, to interview with some of the candidates at that time, and our recommendation was to suspend the hiring process, re-advertise it, get it out so everybody knew what was going on. At the time, 2 of the candidates didn't even know there was a hiring process until after the first round of interviews had gone on. So it really wasn't out there and catching people's attention like it should. So at this point in time, I'm happy to say that the recommendation of myself and the other chiefs that were involved was to suspend the process, repost it, redo it and bring in an interim fire chief who could lead the department over the months, and to help get it in a position such that when a new full-time career chief comes in, it's rock solid with clear direction on what's going to happen. And I'm pleased to report that that has happened. I am working with Ryan and with Mark, the interim fire chief, who you'll meet here shortly. And we are working on a process to put together a hiring process for the fire chief, which would be a professional, be done in a professional manner with components that are common to fire chief hiring throughout the state and really throughout the nation. So I congratulate Jeff and Ryan and everybody for everything they've done to get to this point. The same thing with the folks at the Police and Fire Commission that are working on this now, and I'm looking forward to being able to come back and provide you with additional updates as we move along. It really is an exciting time for the village and the fire department, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the public comments, do we have anybody that wants to speak in public comments? You can step towards the podium.
I would like to speak via the virtual.
Okay, go ahead, just the name and company, or name and address, either or.
Devin Flanagan with Keller, here to discuss the outstanding costs associated with the work that was done over the past year or two. We provided information on that. Now, obviously, it's not on the agenda tonight. No decisions can be made. I am here because I have reached out numerous other directions, and what I'm asking is to be put on the agenda for an upcoming board meeting so we can get some clear direction on this matter. I think we've made quite a few attempts to try to resolve this directly, and I would like to continue in that path.
Okay. Anything else that you had to add? I just don't want to cut you short before I respond.
I don't know that I want to get into it into the details over public comment, but I tried to reach out at the last board meeting, so this is my attempt.
Okay. And that is noted as it's taken in public comment. Obviously, I don't have time to consult with anybody right now, but this wouldn't be the time for the discussion on that with it not being at the agenda. But I mean, I am hearing what you're saying, and it's stated under public comment. And when I've had time to, I'll be consulting obviously with our attorney and with Hector and Ryan, and take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on Zoom that would like to speak in public comment? All right. I would like to introduce, at this time, just so everybody does know, this is our new interim fire chief. He took his oath this morning. Sandy, our clerk, administered it. I'm going to let him say to the room the name because I don't want to mess up the...
Mark Rolfing, and it's my wife always says golfing with an R.
Yeah, he will be the new interim fire chief as we go through this process. So welcome and thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, we need to approve minutes. That's our first item on the agenda, is the approval of minutes from the August 10th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve our minutes from August 10th meeting. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have items related to the vouchers. Just as a note, the vouchers were on the agenda. They just didn't include some of the stuff that was sent separately, but everything is as it should be. So it just came in a separate email on the list of numbers, I believe, or yeah, the list.
It actually was in the packet, but it wasn't bookmarked.
It wasn't bookmarked.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we have the items related to vouchers. We have consideration of contractor's application for payment number 3 in the amount of $6,462.50 to Globe Contractors, Inc. for the 2026 Utilities Program.
Yeah, this is Globe Contractors, Inc., looking for their third and final payment prior to the retainage, which will be next year, after taking a look at the work again. Staff recommends a payment of $6,462.50 to Globe Contractors, Inc.
I'll make a motion then to pay payment number 3 in the amount of $6,462.50 to Globe Contractors, Inc. for the 2026 utility program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to make that payment in the amount of $6,462.50 to Globe Contractors, Inc. for the 2026 Utilities Program. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have the consideration of our vouchers for payments in the amount of $160,255.71.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of the vouchers for $160,255.71.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to pay the vouchers. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Items referred from the Plan Commission, August 17th, 2026 meeting. We have initial review and scheduling of a public hearing for September 28th, 2026 for petition to rezone tax key HAV0729095 located at 221 Cottonwood Avenue from residential to B3 zoning. This is being sent to us from the Plan Commission. It did pass unanimously there. Now would be the time to ask questions and hold it up or do anything the board wants to do with it, but otherwise, we are seeking that this public hearing would be set by the village board
Yeah,
tonight.
they're not present. I don't see them in the room or on Zoom, but with this one, it's just the yellow house across the street. It's a business office for Bubbles Car Wash for their owners, so it's just going from residential to B3 to be able to operate within it. So it would just be, this is the initial review, and hope you set a public hearing for September 28th.
And I will add that that zoning does fall in line with our comprehensive plan that we have as an outlook that it would go to business B3 as opposed to just residential.
I'd like to make a motion to schedule the public hearing for September 28th, 2026 for the petition to rezone tax keys HAV0729116 located at 221 Cottonwood Avenue from residential to B3 zoning.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set that public hearing for September 28th, 2026 to rezone that tax key at 221 Cottonwood Avenue from residential to B3. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have another item that was sent to us from the Plan Commission seeking a public hearing. We have initial review and scheduling of public hearing for October 12th, 2026 for a proposed hotel for tax keys HAV0729095 and HAV0729987. I think I misspoke on the other one. Located at 101 East Capitol Drive and 107-109 East Capitol Drive.
Just list the items.
Yeah, we can list the items. We have, each of the items are a certified survey map, site plans for a 36-room boutique hotel with a rooftop lounge that will be open to the public, planned unit development agreement, and a proposed tax increment financing district.
All right, so staff has been working on this with the hotel. Rupert Milky submitted everyone's comments as a comprehensive, but we do have the village attorney here. He can talk on the plan unit development. That's mostly done. They're working on the TIF language right now. We have Greg Johnson from Ellers who can talk about the potential TIF package that has been agreed upon tentatively by the hotel people and staff, bringing it in front of the board. And then the CSM just to combine the lots. And then this will be one of those that'll go forward to October 12th, and this will just, we're just looking for setting a public hearing. This is the initial review, and then October 12th will be approval of everything except the TIF, which will go along with JR. We have special joint review boards, special plan commission meetings, things of that nature. So Dan Cowell is here with the hotel, so if anybody has any questions, we'll go from there.
Does anybody have any questions where you want us to bring them up? I know they did it at Plan Commission also, but if anybody does want it, we'll bring them up again. Okay.
Oh, I'd like to have Mr. Johnson come out just speak about the TIF, just so you guys get a little bit familiar with that.
Good evening.
Well,
I'm going to give an overview of how TIF assistance could work for this particular project. As Ryan mentioned, there's a statutory process that needs to be followed to create a TIF district. We're really presenting the concept here this evening to see if the village board's comfortable proceeding with that, and then those approval requirements would be followed to bring the TIF district back to the Plan Commission, village board, and joint review board at subsequent meetings. For this particular development, the type of TIF district that would be proposed is what's called a rehabilitation TIF district. The statutory requirement to create a rehabilitation TID is at least 50% of the area within the district really is in need of rehabilitation. Since this is a proposed redevelopment site, tear down of existing structures, rebuild, kind of a redevelopment within the core of downtown, it meets that statutory criteria. The developer made a formal request for TIF assistance for this particular project. We reviewed that TIF assistance request on behalf of the village and had ongoing discussions with the development team and village staff on the appropriateness of that request. The dollar amount that was originally requested for TIF assistance was approximately $5,640,000. We went through all the sources and uses that the developer submitted for the project, all their various funding sources, how they proposed expending the funds. And what we really tried to focus in on were specific extraordinary costs that were related to this particular site. So not factors such as land acquisition or more routine costs, but really costs related to the challenges of developing this particular site. And we identified about $2.1 million of those costs, and that consisted broadly of some utility relocations, some earth retention system improvements, underground stormwater, some structural fill considerations, environmental studies and engineering, asbestos and lead abatement, contaminated soil, vapor mitigation, demolition and clearance of specific site hazards, and some urban construction premium constraints related to developing on the site and some of the challenges related to structures immediately adjacent to the site. So we felt TIF assistance would be most appropriate if it was focused on those specific costs. So in terms of how the TIF assistance would work, it would be capped at an amount identified in the development agreement. And that amount would factor in an interest component, but it would be capped at $3,658,245. That's $2.1 million plus 5% interest. Those costs would be paid to the developer annually from the tax that they generated from the project. So a TIF district works is when it's created, the existing property value, all the taxing jurisdictions continue to collect their share of tax revenue, just like they do now. As that value increases over time, that taxes collected on the increase in value is retained by the village to pay for expenses within the district. That's the village's share, county school district, and technical college. They're all agreeing to forego their share of tax revenue on that new value to help pay for costs necessary for that value to be achieved. And so that would be the financing mechanisms to reimburse these costs. We would cap the term of the TIF assistance at 20 years. So if at the end of that 20-year period, the developer is not reimbursed the maximum amount specified in the development agreement, the village has no responsibility to make up those costs. Conversely, if development and the value is higher than expected and those amounts are paid off sooner, the TIF district would close. Either way, the village isn't responsible for paying any more costs that's within the development agreement, but it's solely paid out from tax revenue generated from that development. And there'll also be conditions in the development agreement that require the developer to complete the project and things of that nature. So really, it's very similar to in terms of the mechanism, to what was provided for the quarry. Same financial structure, paid entirely from development taxes collected from the development, no upfront financing by the village. Really, that financial burden falls to the developer to generate sufficient tax increment revenue to cover their costs. So that's the overview of kind of how the TIF assistance would work, kind of specifically the costs that it would be focused on in terms of reimbursing. Again, this is just informational. The steps to create a TIF district, there'd have to be a convening of the Joint Review Board, which is all the other taxing jurisdictions, public hearing before the Plan Commission, brought back to Village Board, and then goes back to the Joint Review Board. Approval is required at all of those steps. So every single one of those bodies has to approve a TIF district for it to be created. So that's kind of the overview of how this would be structured, what it would be paid for. I'll pause here, see if, Ryan, do you have anything else you wanted to add? But that's
No,
kind of an overview.
You hit it all. It's a pay-go TIF, so it's on the developer. And as you kind of mentioned, that 2.1 million, it goes to 3.68. That's today's dollar amount in future value. That's how they calculate it essentially. So.
Anyone have any questions for Ellers? Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you guys like to have Hector speak on the work he's done on the PUD?
Good evening. We have been working on the development agreement and the template that was used to start off the discussions was the same one that you're familiar with regards to the quarry. The main modification will be with regards to the TIF funding. And the key point, as Greg has just indicated, is that there is no upfront payment or contribution or forgiveness of fees until there is the issuance of an occupancy permit. And that means that all of the work needed on the site has to be completed, including the stabilization of the shoreline with regards to the river on the east side of the to be combined two parcels. I think that Greg has covered the TIF very comprehensively. If you should have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We will be incorporating, as we typically do, the design details of the work to be done in the agreement itself. And in this particular situation, unlike the quarry TIF, there is going to be minimal dedication of infrastructure to the village, simply because all of the construction will be on the two lots that are being combined, and the one exception being the replacement of the sidewalks surrounding the front or west side of the particular parcel. And that's primarily due to the fact that with the construction, with the excavation, with the remediation, with the fact that there's going to be a crane on site to lift elements to the upper level of the structure, it's anticipated that the existing sidewalks will take a bit of a beating in that regard. Any questions?
I just want to give a little background too. So the previous agenda item had a September 28th public hearing. This has an October 12th public hearing. A key TIF deadline is September 30th. This TIF is going to be after September 30th, so it's going to get a fresh year. They're going to start demolition November 1st is the goal, and hopefully have most of those two buildings demolished by the end of the year, creating the base value that you see here of the land, and then whatever value they build. So that's why we chose to do this. Gets an extra year for everybody to try and get the value. So all we really need beyond any questions would be setting a public hearing for October 12th.
I'll make a motion then to schedule a public hearing for October 12th, 2026 for proposed hotel for tax keys HAV0729095 and HAV0729987 located at 101 East Capitol as well as 107/109 East Capitol. The Plan Commission reviewed their certified survey map, site plans for a 36-room boutique hotel with a rooftop lounge that's open to the public, planned unit development agreement, and proposed tax incremental financing district.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set the public hearing for October 12th, 2026 for the proposed hotel at Tax Keys HAV072, as read. It was just stated clearly in the motion at the addresses stated with all of the items that Rick stated when he made the motion. Any discussion?
Any questions?
Any questions that anyone does have on any of the information that was here? While we do have everyone here, it makes it easy. Obviously, if you did have further questions, you can contact Ryan and reach out, or like Hector, I think most of you have his number, you can ask those questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. So that is set for October 12th, that public hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we have a consideration of a second reading of bill for an ordinance number 8, however you want me to read it, 08102026, an ordinance amending section 6-37, section C of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances relating to issuing of operator's license with possible waiving. It was requested with possible waiving of the third reading. That does not mean that you have to waive the third reading and pass it tonight. It was just being requested when they put the agenda together because it didn't seem like there was a lot of input coming, but the board does not have to act on it either.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is for the village clerk to approve the licenses that have already, we kind of aired their dirty laundry once, and they've had no charges since then.
Suspend the rules if we pass it.
I'd make a motion. Make a motion to suspend the rules.
It's been moved and seconded to suspend the rules at this time. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the bill for an ordinance number 810-2026, an ordinance amending section 6-37C of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances relating to issuing of operator licenses with possible, that'll do it.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the amending of ordinance 6-37, section C, as stated in the motion. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That is passed. That is adopted. Now we have consideration of a second reading of a bill for an ordinance number 0810-2026-A, ordinance amending Appendix B of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances with possible waiving of the third reading as well, and we are under suspended rules. We're still, Hector just left. My understanding is we are still under suspended rules.
Perfect, and this is just the change of the court costs, correct, Chief Misko? Part of that is the increase in court costs?
Actually, that's all of it. So there was that $10 increase for just that court costs portion of the citations only. So that will increase by $10, which will also obviously increase the total amount of every citation that we have for any ordinance violation, which all are listed under that Appendix B.
So no need to suspend the rules, just a motion, or we go to a third reading?
We're already under suspension.
I believe that we're under suspended rules, and if we all are agreeing to move forward, then we would be under suspended rules, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 0824-2026, a resolution pledging that the village board of the Village of Heartland, as I'm doing the wrong one, will expend funds necessary for the, I'm sorry. Sorry, I take it back. I should have.
Cancel that motion.
Should have woke up earlier. Okay, I'll make a motion to To approve the bill of ordinance number 810-2026A, ordinance appending Appendix B of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances with possible, oh, never mind.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt ordinance 810-2026A. This ordinance is amending Appendix B of the Village of Hartland Code of Ordinances. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That is adopted. All right, now we have consideration of a motion to approve resolution 8/24/2026, a resolution pledging that the village board of the Village of Hartland will expend funds necessary for the Hartland Public Library to exempt the village from the Waukesha County Library levy.
Yep, this is the same thing we do each August pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 43.64. You are approving that you guys will expend the minimum library appropriation so that we don't get double taxed essentially. And this year it is $493,080, and you were already well over that last year, I believe. And with the budget that Ryan and I created that we'll talk to you guys about in a few weeks, that shouldn't be an issue either.
Questions on that one?
I'll make a motion then to approve resolution number 8-24-2026, a resolution pledging that the village board of the Village of Hartland will expend funds necessary for the Hartland Public Library to exempt the village from the Waukesha County Library levy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt or approve resolution number 8/24/2026, pledging that we will expend the funds necessary for the Hartland Public Library to exempt the village from the Waukesha County Library levy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Sorry, I can't remember if I even said it. That resolution is adopted or approved. Now we have review and consideration of a contract with Foster and Foster Consulting Actuaries for the GASB OPEB study for a 4-year contract.
Yeah, so as part of our audit, we were required to have a GASB OPEB study that is done. We have it every 2 years. It's the same company, different name. This year it must have been bought out or changed, but it'll be a 4-year. We can't do it ourselves because it needs to be an actuarial study that takes all of our figures and puts it into actuarial calculations. So I'm recommending that we do a 4-year to save a little bit of money on the back end because we have to do it every 2. We have to do it every year and get our tables updated every 2. So if we do it every 4, it just kind of cheapens the cost by a couple $100.
State requirement.
It is. We have other, OPEB is other post-employment benefits, so it's our health insurance. So it's a state requirement that we have to have it actuarially studied and put it into our financial statements.
Sounds like we're going to save a little money. I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Foster and Foster Consulting Actuaries for GASB OPEB study for a 4-year contract.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with Foster and Foster Consulting Actuaries for a 4-year contract. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have consideration of appointment of a citizen member, Dino Zekis, to the Tax Incremental Financing Joint Review Board, as recommended by myself. This would need to be approved by the board.
Yeah, so and the Joint Review Board meets annually in June, just talk about all the TIFs. And then with part of the new TIF, we have to have the Joint Review Board has to approve it, and we need a citizen member. So President Vanderstel reached out to Mr. Zekias. He is available. He may not be available in June, but we need somebody appointed to it. We've always had a hard time getting a citizen member.
Is he replacing a current citizen?
No, not with the new TIF, yes, with the old TIFs, and no, I couldn't tell you who the old TIF person was.
That's what I wanted to know.
If anybody's ever interested in that, please let me know. It's only once a year, so it gets tough because it's like all of a sudden it's off on their.
I didn't know we even had that board.
Mm-hmm. Typically, we can give a brief update too on that board. So this board has to get together, as it was being described by Greg from Allers. There's a board that gets together when there's the creation of the TIF or a TID incremental tax incremental district. You have to create a district, and then you can do the tax incremental financing, which that's where the TIF comes from. But because you have the county, whatever school district it falls, in our case, it's either Swallow, Lake Country, or Hartland Lakeside. You have Arrowhead always, and WCTC, and then you have the village. But because it does affect people, because they're voting to say, yeah, you don't have to give me the taxes of that increased value right away, that's okay because of the increased value. So basically, because you're making an investment, they're involved in the decision as well. So it goes through that board. Typically in June, when we're not creating a new one, you're just going through the finance pages to talk about, is the TIF on track? Are things the way they're supposed to be? When are they going to close? You know, that kind of stuff. You're basically going over an overview of them and approving it, but we have to have that meeting annually or when we're creating a TIF or there's a need for that board to get together. So a lot of times it's only once a year.
How many members are on that board and from what background? I mean.
Yeah, so you
Just
have
curious.
Wallschlager County has Andrew Thalke, who I don't know his exact title, but a district administrator, let's call it. Then we have WCTC has usually their finance person. Arrowhead has their finance person. The school districts have their superintendents and finance people, but they get one. Trying to think who else. Yeah, the county is Andrew Thalke. The village has ours, so.
Ryan sits on that meeting, he usually runs it, and then I'm there for a vote, because he goes through the whole list. You know, he pulls up the stuff we see on our TIFs, kind of like what we see in budget, or what he does at budget time, he goes through all that.
And we never used to have annual joint review board meetings. The Department of Revenue felt that all the other taxing jurisdictions weren't up to date and knowing what's going on. So before July 1st of every year, we have to have a meeting with them. It's usually done via Zoom. I submit a report annually on the TIFs, and we go over that report and tell them how the TIF's doing and when it should close. So.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of a citizen member, Dino Zeikis, to the Tax Incremental Financing Joint Review Board as recommended by President Vanderstel.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Dino Zeikis to the Tax Incremental Financing Joint Review Board. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That motion is carried. Now we have announcements.
Summer reading just ended, so staff is kind of in recovery mode for the next week or two, and then we will start ramping up for a pumpkin party in the park, which we're doing with DPW, and they're so excited to be helping us out.
When
Tom's
is
the
that,
greatest.
Andy? What's the date on that?
October 10th, 2026, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Nixon Park. We're also working with our rec department. We're having fun planning it, so yeah, otherwise we have a few new cert clerks onboarding as well because we had a few leave because they're starting graduate school. So we're excited to get some new, fresh faces in the library as well.
Awesome, that's great.
All right, this last week, our rustic lift station went through its complete rehab. The entire cabinet got pulled off. All the instrumentation with that lift station got replaced, minus the pumps and check valves. So it's pretty interesting process for that to happen in 1 to 2 days. Piping replaced and everything, having that all work together simultaneously without backing up the system as a process. So that went over well. Today we started radar penetration of our Hartland cemeteries once again. This is going through our West Capitol section, the lower cemetery, which has got some headstones in there from the Civil War era. So we're finding a lot of interesting things. It's probably going to be 2 to 3 weeks of updating our records. And after this guy goes through and does all the marking of the grave, I have R&M come out and fly a drone of the area. That drone captures an image where I can overlay that on top of our GIS, so we have those records for forever. So it's very, very crucial to what me and Sandy do, trying to hunt down some of these records for some of the plots that we own. So that's going to be very helpful. And then we have recently been spending a lot of time on our pond inspections, our private pond inspections, and making sure private owners of ponds are filling out their inspections and getting those back to us, and so we can record those. So that's been a lot of work trying to get people up to speed on the inspection for our MS4 permits. So a lot of explaining, meeting with people, and kind of going over the standards of what's needed for those assets. And that's all I got.
Just a quick brief update for me regarding grants. We received a small but appreciative grant from Quick Trip for $1,000 towards our body-worn camera program that we're piecing together. As a reminder, we did put in for 2 federal grants. Those move at a snail's pace is what I'm finding out. One we applied in October and still have nothing back on. The other one was in February, and my last update about a week or 2 ago on that one was they haven't even reviewed a application yet, so they move very quickly. So we're hoping to utilize some of that grant money to get this program live, but at this rate, I'm not sure if that will happen or not. So more talk at our budget meetings about possible alternatives.
Mark, if you would like to speak, you can. You don't have to, but
I
know
don't
it's
have
your
a whole
first
lot to
meeting.
say. I showed up at 7:30 this morning and got a lot of really good information. Probably, it starts 3 or 4 weeks of pretty intense just reading and figuring out how the department operates, what we are doing, what can we not do, what should we be doing, and just, everything Bruce talked about, just kind of reviewing the department and seeing where we need to go. And then working with you all and just kind of mapping a way forward. And I'd just like to thank everybody for the opportunity to work here for even a short bit of time. I think it'll be very enjoyable, so thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome. Again, welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to Hartland. And also, is there a book sale this week as well? Fill a bag or a tote?
Yeah, $10.
Okay.
The annual used book sale, or semi-annual, because we had another one in May, is in our Ice Age Trail Room right now. Someone dropped off like 500 mass market paperback books. If you guys are familiar with those smaller books that are like $8. We don't know what happened, but there's a ton of actually decent newer books over there this round versus the kind of older remnants of the library collection. So we've actually had a busy first day? Yeah, first day we set up on Friday. So all the money goes towards the Friends, who then will fund our summer programs and materials with that money. So, and the yearly Friends of the Heartland Public Library meeting is next week, Wednesday, I believe, also in the Ice Age Trail Room. Way to know your library stuff.
Only thing
Every year, I look forward to it.
only thing I had, budget meetings are September 9th and September 10th, just a reminder. In this area, we're getting together who's all going to present at what days, and we'll have food provided. But September 9th, Wednesday, September 9th, and Thursday, September 10th here at Village Hall.
6:05, correct? 6:05?
5.
7:05, but no.
6 o'clock.
Making fun of me.
Labor Day Monday.
Labor Day, that wouldn't be a meeting anyway. It wouldn't have been. That's the 7th, so that's the first.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So I have some announcements. Should be pretty quick. Again, welcome, Mark. I just letting you know, it's just little things pop in, but it's also good for the public to know these things. But just wanted to let you know that not only is Chief Misko our police chief, he's also our emergency management coordinator. So good to know, very good guy to be able to hit up with questions. He does a fantastic job at both roles, as chief and as the emergency management coordinator. For fire meetings, I know that with it being the first month or first few weeks, we've kind of extended it to Mark to in time decide on his own. I thought it'd be a good idea for him to be here. for him to introduce himself to the entire board and so the public can see him on YouTube, or if they were here at the meeting. My guess is that he and Cajal would be coming to the meetings and that possibly in time, as opposed to if he's got to be here for an early morning, and because he is working as an interim fire chief, that he may send Cajal to the meeting and not be here at certain meetings. But it'll be good to see what he does, and feel free to reach out to Mark with questions. This week, last week we had two, and Tom Trutchell, I'm sorry about this. Last Friday, we had football games in Hartland. Football is up and running now. Opening night was on Friday. Lake Country Lutheran played Kiel, and they did win. And Arrowhead played Marquette High, and they won. So a good start to the football season. And Street dance was outstanding. It looked like it was very, very well attended. Unfortunately, it did get a little bit of rain here and there, but it didn't tend to chase everybody away. From what I know, it was nothing crazy happened, but it was a good event for the chamber, and it was very well attended from what I could see, and a good time for them and a good time for Hartland. Everybody seemed to have a really fun evening. I don't have anything else. And I did get done in less than an hour. We got done in less than an hour.
Don't get used to this.
I'm usually pretty quick, like 10 minutes, but it was a little long tonight.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.